What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show is Body and Spirit. I'm a medical doctor, so I like bodies. And I quit medicine to become Access Consciousness Facilitator and Akashic Record teacher, and now 3-day body facilitator as well, to help other people to change their lives, especially with bodies. Do you like your body? Do you treat your body like it's something sinful and awful? Because a lot of religious beliefs has to do about punishing your body for who knows what. They're talking about original sin, whatever was done like thousands of years ago, millions of years ago. Did you grow up with those religious beliefs that tells you to punish your body for, I don't know, something? What if your body is actually amazing, beautiful, conscious organism that has been communicating with you all along and you have not been listening? Let's play with the ideas and see if we can change the reality with our body and also with other bodies. Because part of body and spirit, it's not just dealing with our body, but other bodies. Think about it. We are spirit, right? Or being or soul, different techniques, different modality talk about different things, but it all comes down to our own consciousness, even if it's atheist who talks about the brain and the body. And there is definite separation there, at least in majority of people. I love the book by Stephanie Meyer's Host. And if you've never read it, please, but don't watch the movie. The movie is awful. I did not like the movie. It's too slow and it doesn't give the essence of the book. The idea of the book is there are benevolent creatures, or not so much benevolent, but they're supposed to be peaceful. They're aliens. And the name for that creature is soul. And they invade people's bodies. And usually people don't object to that and they take over the body. But in certain cases, people resist because they'd like to be free. They don't like control. And there is a separation between the soul and the body. It's just like in our cases. And in the book, the soul loves one person and the body loves another. So let's talk about not the book, but real life. In real life, there is also separation because we are energy. Everything is energy, including the body. But body is more solid. And because consciousness is everywhere, consciousness permeates every cell, every molecule. Think about how the whole structure is. It's kind of like if you look under electron microscopy, you just see space and atoms. But the atoms are not solid. Atoms also break down on the nucleus, which is neutrons and positrons, and electrons kind of like orbiting, just like our planet or any other planet with satellites. But then it's not solid either. If you go down to the nucleus, it's already energy vibrating at different levels. And that's what creates the solidification, our points of view. Our points of view create the solidification, our points of view create our reality. If two people agree on something or resist something, it doesn't matter if we resist and react or align and agree, we still create the solidity in our world. If we look at the wall and see it as solid, which it is for all practical purposes because we believe it's solid, we can't go through that. But yet, in the movies where there is magic, people go through walls. And if we be what we are, truly the energy, we could go through walls. It's our point of view that creates inability to do magic. So, same with our bodies. Body is not solid, but we create it as solid. We put our parents together, we chose our parents for their genetic material and created the body. And then what do? We judge our body. We are the one that picked the genetic material. But now we're starting to judge, oh, the hips are too big, the butt is too big, the breasts are too small, the stomach is too big, we have more wrinkles, we are aging, oh, too fat, too ugly, too, so many, too much, too little, too old, all of that. All of those things create more of what we are thinking or choosing. If we judge something, it creates more of that. If we be in total allowance, in total being present with the body, guess what? Body would look totally different or not. It might choose the same, but not out of resistance, but out of choice. Because body is communicating with us nonstop. Think about it. Do you have itches? Like sometimes the body itches, sometimes the body tingles, sometimes the body um, hot. Like right now, I feel hot. Like the temperature is rising outside, so the house is getting warmer. Plus, I'm moving some energy as well, so I'm getting hot. And the body says, "Oh, it's hot. Maybe you should turn air conditioner on." And at this moment, I'm not going to because I'm talking to you guys. So, and a lot of times, that's what happens. We ignore the body. In this case, I'm not ignoring, I'm telling the body, I'm sorry, we're in the middle of podcast. So can we lower the temperature? And a lot of times there is an interesting tool of access called vortexes. And you learn that in foundation and choice of possibilities. It's about when we start changing, it creates almost like a wind because in access consciousness, a lot of times we clear to the point of creation and we do a lot of changes. It opens up a huge vortex to the divine energy that is pretty cold. So, and we can do it at will by asking, body, what would it take for us to change in totality? And that's actually cooled me off quite a bit. Because there are tools that we can play with the body and change everything in our body, just like we can change temperature. We can change any dis-ease in the body. But a lot of times, this reality tells us you cannot do that. You have to go to the medical doctor. You have to go to surgeon, to cardiologist, to uh, shaman, to healer, to whatever, that you cannot change your body. That's total lie. Would you be willing to let go of all the lies that you bought throughout your life or even prior lives? By the way, we've lived on this planet multiple lifetime, at least majority of us. Some people just came maybe for this lifetime, but even if that's the case, you probably lived on other planets, somewhere in a galaxy, somewhere in the universe, somewhere in multiverse. Have you ever watched this actually quite a few shows right now that talk about multiverse, talk about universe. One of them is Magicians, the other one is Flash, and in Flash, he actually superhero that can move so fast that it's sometimes beyond speed of light. So he can change past, he can change future. And I love that show because it's actually more true than a lot of points of view we have. Because we do move much faster than speed of space, speed of light. We move or we can move with speed of space. And all of those tools I'm talking about are part of Access Consciousness that was created by Gary Douglas and co-created with Dr. Dane here. Some of the information has been channeled, some of it not. But all of it is about us choosing more, recognizing that we are greater than we think, recognizing that we have much greater abilities with energy, with magic, with everything. Because as I said, everything is energy and magic is everywhere. When I practiced medicine, I know I practiced traditional medicine, and yet in my practice, I never realized how much I have magic with bodies. Because a lot of times I would examine a patient and she would complain, let's say, knee pain, and I would touch it and the pain disappeared. And she says, "Oh my God, you have a magic touch. My pain is gone." I didn't know at that time. I mean, on some level I did, but I did not recognize my ability with energy, with healing. And a lot of us have the abilities with bodies. It's about recognizing it, acknowledging, and being it. It's time for our first break of the show, I just noticed. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is body and spirit and their relationship. Um, I, I kind of like we left off, I was talking about when I was a doctor, I kind of like used those abilities with bodies unconsciously. I had no idea. And part of unconscious using it, a lot of times people who haven't acknowledged that they're healers, they can take it on into their body, solidifying it and creating diseases that they take out other people's body. And that's not cool, not at all. Because eventually I ended up with open heart surgery and lots of other problems because I didn't know how to deal with that. Ability is just that. It's not good or bad. It's ability. And it's about learning how to use it without damaging our own body. Because the spirit is always is like, okay, let's heal it, let's heal it, let's heal it. Body is like, let's heal it, let's heal it, let's heal it. And then it's like, oh, oops, took it out. What do I do with it? I have no clue. So let me tell you, it's much easier than you think. The idea is that for those of you that are healers and you've been taking things out of other people's bodies all your life and then mirroring the symptoms, all of that stuff, all you need to do is just acknowledge, okay, I'm a healer. Thank you very much. What's required here? Because body gives us information. We're like antenna, a psychic SpongeBob, pretty much absorbing information. Body tells us, okay, this person has pain. This person has cancer. This person has heart disease. This person is tired. This person has flu. And we're like, okay, if we are not cognitive of that, or not actually not cognitive, erase that. If we're not conscious about it, because a lot of it bypasses cognitive mind, if we're not conscious that we're healers, we just take it on and heal them. A lot of times it's not a kindness to you or your body or even their bodies. Because a lot of those people's created illnesses or this is unease in their body for some reason. Who knows what? I'm not even going to go into the details. They have their reason. It could be punish themselves, it could be taking out of another body, healing another body. I mean, there is so many things that people choose it for. Our job as a healers is actually, instead of automatically, and that goes automatically, take it out of their body, asking what's required here, or who does it belong to. And sometimes it's actually just information. And sometimes body gives us information about earth as well. um, I perceive earthquakes on a visceral level, literally, like I get dizzy, I get disoriented, almost like I'm in the earthquake. And sometimes it's a few hours before earthquake, sometimes a day. um, and it doesn't have to be in the vicinity. And when I ask, it's like, okay, what's required here? Sometimes it's giving energy. And sometimes it's like, oh, I'm just telling you, if you're in the vicinity, just get out. Thank you very much. I'm not in the vicinity of the earthquake, so I'm okay for now. So same thing with you guys. If you're perceiving something, just ask, who does it belong to? And if it goes away, cool. If it doesn't, ask, what's required here? And sometimes, as I said, it's just sending energy. The way I do that, I take that vibration, that pain, discomfort, itching, tingling, whatever the energy is, because all of it is just vibration, and send it to whoever required. A lot of times it's earth, because earth is communicating and requires a lot of energy, especially now with everything that's going on in the world, with bombings, with hate, with separation, with earthquakes, with tornadoes, with COVID, with everything that's going on. Earth is taking on that energy and trying to heal us. And sometimes it's too much and it needs our support. Because just like a being with a body, Earth is doesn't have any points of view about healing us, but sometimes it requires a little contribution. So, what I invite you to do is drop your barriers for a second, because our body is much bigger than our physical body. We have energetic body, we have aura, we have lots of energetic bodies. I think it's like multiple levels, multiple layers, and a lot of them are huge. So let's drop our barriers to awareness, to our energetic bodies, and to everything in the world. And actually, he would say, "Oh, no, 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 I don't want to be aware of all that, those things." You're still aware, but you contracted. And think about for a second, what's kind of like more, who will get more tired? A small person who is carrying 100-pound brick, or a giant who is carrying 100-pound brick. So my invitation to you to become giants, and then all that weight, all that extraneous stuff wouldn't bother you. So when we drop our barriers, let's expand. First, expand maybe a little bit just outside your body and start expanding like a sphere, and perceive if you're still there, a mile or a kilometer if you're other countries other than US or Great Britain or Australia, I think. Um, no, Australia, I think, is metric. So mile, kilometer, 100 miles, 100 kilometers, 1,000 miles, 1,000 kilometers, and keep expanding until you become bigger than Earth. Yeah, like that. Thank you. And expand even more, even more, even more, 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 more. Keep expanding, keep expanding, keep expanding even more. Make yourself as big as the solar system. And from that space, let's contribute to Earth. Ask Earth, what contribution can we be for you? And if you have any discomfort in your body still, usually when you expand, the discomfort disappears, because a lot of it discomfort is us trying to contain us in a small body. So from that space, let's send energy that Earth is asking for on three. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. Thank you. Feels a little lighter in my body. There is still discomfort. So, okay, some people are asking for contribution. From that space again, let's send contribution to everybody in the universe that's asking for the energy of contribution, energy that can change, shift, expand their lives, and be nurturing for their body. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. And I know we talk about tools of a day or tools of the week. So, one of the tools I would like you to use for the next week, anytime you have a discomfort in your body, anytime you have kind of like sensation in your body, first of all, ask who does it belong to or what does it belong to? And if what does it belong to got lighter, then it's Earth. And contribute to Earth on three. Maybe expand, but sometimes even just saying, okay, I'm giving this to Earth. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. And sometimes, even if it's who does it belong to, the Earth will take it and send it to whoever it needs it. Just being present with the energy a lot of times, being aware of it, gives us opportunity or possibility having more connection with our body. Because that's the idea that I would like you to start pondering and start playing with, communicating with the body. There is an amazing book that just came out by Dr. Dane Hare, Body Whispering. And it's a magnificent book. I haven't finished it yet. I'm kind of like just started. It came out, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, and it's already hit. Um, I think it was Amazon bestseller, and I don't remember what was the number on the bestseller list because there are different bestseller lists. But it's amazing. And if you never read Dr. Dane's books, they all, one of them, the Being You book, saved my life 9 years ago when I went to India. And that trip was, um, I love India because people are wonderful and it has so much spirituality and so much, um, just, it just is. And right now, I would like to contribute whatever is going on in India. I know Dr. Dane is doing or did this morning a call to change the energy, especially with COVID in India. So that was my first book from Access Consciousness and by Dr. Dane, Being You Changing the World. And it has so many tools, so many things to change your life. Literally, like every day, I could find something that was helpful. And even now, 9 years later, that book is still one of my favorites and to go to. If I don't feel good, like pick up a lot of stuff from other people or created my own shit, I would go to the book, open it at any like kind of like on random page, and every single time it's changes things. I hear exactly what I need to hear, and it looks like this book is similar with bodies. So I'll tell you when I finish, but my invitation, join me in reading it. It's not an audiobook yet. I think it might be coming soon, but meanwhile, it's about that body actually whispers. It doesn't shout unless we don't hear it. And it's actually time for our second break of the show. And we'll be talking more about body whispering after the break. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is body and spirit. And before we went on the break, we were talking about book by Dr. Dane Hare, Body Whispering. And this book is, again, filled with a lot of tools that helps us to be in communion with our body. Because the idea is when we separate, as I started in the beginning, a lot of religious belief system, a lot of techniques talk about body is not important, spirit is. But then materialistic viewpoint talks about spirit is not important, body is. Neither is correct, neither is wrong, but it's about having cohesion. It's having communion between spirit and body, between being and body, between soul and body, because body is the one that lives in this reality, in the physical world. Body is the one that eats. Body is the one that sleeps. Body is the one that dresses up. Body is the one that goes to work or goes on vacation, travels, having sex, watching TV. This is all body. This is not spirit. Think about all those spirits that don't have bodies. Can they do that? The answer is not so much. And I've done a lot of meditation where I would experience out, kind of like not so much out of body experience, but it was more of what spirit experiences, what soul experiences, like soul connections. I've done a lot of those. And with those, I realized, yeah, it's wonderful. It's a bliss. It's all eternal love, unconditional love there. But you cannot touch people. You cannot hug people. And that's a different energy. And right now, yeah, with all the social isolation and everything else, we're not allowed to hug people. Guess what? People still hug each other. And when I went to Mexico a couple of weeks ago, people don't care. People hug each other, and it was so much fun to see people dancing and crowds on the beach, crowds at the restaurants, crowds, happy people. And nobody cared. And I didn't get COVID. I was fine. I came home, I tested negative, now going to Guatemala to do body class, tested negative again. And the happier people are, the less chances to get any infection. The more depressed people, the easier to get infection because viruses and bacteria are around us all the time. Even as a doctor, as I said, I practiced, I was born in Russia, came to the United States as a kid. So I went to college, medical school, residency, did all of that, and had my own private practice for 10 years. And I remember giving prescription to one of the patients, and I wrote vacation. and joy. Even then, I knew when you raise vibrations of the body, if the being raises vibration, if you're happy and joyful, nothing can get you. It's one of the points in, if you ever seen movie Secret, they talk about that woman got out of stage 4 cancer, breast cancer, if I recall, by watching comedies and laughing. The more we laugh, the better it is for our body, for us. The more we have joy, and you say, oh, in this world it's so hard to feel joy. Um, yes and no. Happiness is just a choice was one of the classes in access consciousness, and surprisingly enough, that was either the smallest or one of the smallest classes in the history of access. And because not that many people choose happiness, partly because it's not normal in this reality. Much more normal is complaining, being victim, and suffering. If it's almost like you have to deserve happiness. In majority of cases, deserving, you have to go through suffering. But what happens, it creates the vicious cycle, because the more you suffer, the worse you get. And there is a scale, emotional, the energetic scale of emotions. And they measured in megahertz people's emotions. And things like, let's say, depression, let's say 10, I don't remember the numbers. You can Google it. And depression might be 10, the fear might be 12, anger might be 15, the apathy might be 2, and anxiety might be 8, while joy is 500, love 800, happiness is 1,000. I just give examples kind of like off the top of my head, but those are not emotions. Those go beyond that. They are spaces of being. And the more we are in that space of being, of joy and happiness and unconditional love, the more our body is in those vibrations. It's just like with disease, one of the ways to kill cancer is radiation. And radiation is a high energy vibration. So, what if instead of radiation, we irradiate our body with joy? How much more fun would it be to have happiness if we could harvest happiness and create a machine of happiness and just blast the person with cancer instead of radiation, which kills the cells? The joy would just take them out and melt it. So let's all of us create joy, happiness as a way of our lives and living, as maybe spend, okay, maybe not the whole day being happy, but maybe dedicate 15, let's start with 15 minutes a day, or maybe 5 minutes a day, where you look in the mirror, or maybe not even look in the mirror, because if you look in the mirror, then you start judging. No, 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 it's not going to work. First, just make yourself happy. You can read a funny book, you can watch a funny video, And these couple of funny videos I can recommend. One of them is Bob Newhart, Stop It. And the other one is It's Not About the Nail. It's on the YouTube. Those are free videos. And just watch them and see how much laughter you can create. In Russia, there was a saying that 10 minutes of laughter equivalent of eating 2 pounds of carrots. So you get as much vitamins in laughing as much as in the carrots. I don't know what that relationship was, but people knew that happiness created something different. And every modality you look at, they talk about that laughter is almost like oxygen to the brain. The brain functions differently when you're happy. Think of if you never had depression, that's wonderful. I love you. I adore you. Please continue with that. But if any time when you had depression or bad mood, how much your brain became foggy, and it is hard to think. It's hard to function when people are depressed. It's about what if we don't have to be depressed? What if we can just choose to be happy? The only, like, there are certain states where it's hard to get out. One of them is depression and apathy. They are so low vibration that a lot of times people need to be kind of like jerked out of that. Uh, and it's funny, but sometimes scaring people or getting them angry during the depression actually creates that energy boost that they can get out of it, and then they can choose something different. And I was just time flies. Wow. I love being with you guys, but it's time for our third break of the show. And we'll continue talking about listening to our body, communicating with our body, and choosing more joy. You've been listening to Creating Abundance with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is body and spirit. And we've talked about communicating with the body and creating a different reality to become happier, to get out of depression. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about bodies and how much we put stuff in our bodies. A lot of, well, not a lot. Gary Douglas had a year program, what was called Obesity Clinic, talking about weight and fat. And one of the things we discovered that fat is solidification of feelings. That's what he said. And it actually makes sense. Because a lot of times in my life, I would eat very little, but I would still gain weight. And part of it was the relationship I was in. I know that in the last few years, every relationship added like 5 pounds or 10 pounds to my weight. A lot of times I was able to get it off me after the relationship was over, but it still, it added the weight. So I did solidify the feeling. Sometimes it's easy to get rid of, and sometimes what happens is we lock it in the body on a cellular level. And I love access consciousness because access has tools of unlocking it. And one of them is, well, bars, of course, is number one. And then there are body processes. And body processes is very gentle energy healing where you put your hands on the body, turn the vibration on, that's required, and it unlocks whatever was stuck so the body can heal itself. Um, in Body Whispering book, Dr. Dane talks about that normal cells are those little spheres, like circular. And when they're born, when they're new, when they're healthy. But when the points of view come in, when emotions come in, when feelings come in, when this reality comes in, which is linear, all of those are linear because it has a time aspect to it. So the cell becomes ellipticized. And when it's round, it's very easy to move, very easy to kind of rotate. When it's elliptical, not so much. Think of it, it's kind of like a blob now that trying to move and it's not moving. So that's how the dis-ease or disease gets created. So body processes unlock that. I love facilitating those classes. And if you're in Guatemala or Latin America, you're welcome to come to body class that's starting this Friday on May 21st, or to Dallas on June 11, 12, and 13th. I'm also doing a couple of new classes. One of them was just created, and it's not access consciousness, it's with Akashic Records, Wealth with Akashic Records, 1 day class where you learn the tools of Akashic Records without going into the records themselves. You will experience the energy of the records through the prayers and the grace points, and we'll work with what how to create more abundance with bodies, with soul, with kind of like letting go of all the karma that's associated with not having wealth. So just go to my website and see if you're curious about other stuff that I'm doing around the world. Because I do facilitate classes around the world. I do private sessions. I do it live and online. And you can also catch me every week on Wednesday at 11 Central Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we'll be talking about spiritual wealth, kind of like going to be part of what will come out in the class. A lot of times when I facilitate those classes, things show up that I wasn't even aware before. Because when you're working in the energy, it creates a different reality, not just for the people in the class, but for the whole world. And how much more can we create by choosing more in our lives? Because every person is energetic beacon in the world. And we can we transmit always, we receive constantly, and we transmit constantly. Our bodies perceive everything, and it whispers to us about a lot of different things because body eats, body sleeps, body have sex. It tells us what it likes to eat, what it doesn't like to eat. And it's just a matter of listening to our body. It's a matter of being with our bodies without judgment. What if we didn't have to judge our body? What if we didn't have to be mean to our body? What if we actually liked our body? Just a saying, what if you liked your body the way it is now without the judgment? And what if you can ask it to change to what it desires, not what we programmed it to be? Because when we trying to push something on the body, guess what body does? It resists and reacts. The body rarely resists and reacts. It just usually does what we tell her to do, her, or if it's a male body, his body. We are the ones that resisting and reacting. And a lot of times that starts creating whatever we don't want in our bodies. If we have a point of view that we're aging, guess what? The body starts aging. If we have a point of view that we're gaining weight, the body will start gaining weight. It's like that genie in a bottle. Your wish is my command. And it's not just 3 wishes. It's every single wish. It's every single thought, feeling, and emotion. It's every single point of view you have, every single point of view you pick up from other people. And I know our show is coming to the end of today, but as I said, next week, spiritual wealth. And spiritual wealth is also includes body. We'll be talking more about how we can create more wealth with our body. Because body is the one that needs money, not the being. Think of all those spirits everywhere that don't have bodies. They don't need money. And how much is your spirit, your soul, your being actually in the same point of view, in the same kind of energy? I don't need money. I'm fine. But that's where the separation comes in between you and your body. You don't need money. You don't need anything. You're just a being. And as a being, you're everywhere. You're just consciousness. You're part of consciousness. Body is the one that needs clothes. Body is the one that needs a comfy bed. Body is the one that can use a nice car to drive instead of walking. Otherwise, we would have been 100 years ago just walking everywhere, or 200 years, I would say. But now we have cars, we have airplanes, we have a lot of nice things that body can enjoy. And what if instead of judging all of that, as a spiritual being, you don't need anything. As a spiritual being, you shouldn't have luxury. As a spiritual being, you should not desire money. Um, what's wrong with desiring money? Actually, how much can you change the world more? With the money or without money? Who is changing the world? Bill Gates more or you? What if you had more money than Bill Gates? What if you had more money than Trump? What if you could have more money than any of those billionaires who are creating evil in the world? Choose something different, please. And I will see you soon, hopefully, and hopefully in person. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you for choosing to
Bye.
listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.